Welcome to the channel, your one-step destination for mastering literature and acing exams. Whether you are here to dive deep into going places or simply sharpen your skills, you are in the right place. If you love clear explanations, expert tips, and strategies to score top marks, hit that subscribe button and join our growing community of learners. And to all our returning viewers, welcome back. Let's jump in and make literature your strongest subject. In today's video, we'll dive into going places, providing you with everything you need to confidently tackle this chapter. Here is what we'll cover. This is your one-stop revision power session, so grab your notebooks and let's begin. Let's start with a detailed summary. In this section, I'll cover all the important events and facts from the chapter. Pay close attention as this will lay the foundation for understanding the themes and the questions. The story revolves around Sophie, a young girl brimming with ambition and her journey of self-discovery. Sophie is an imaginative and ambitious teenager from a lower middle-class family. Her vivid dreams of a glamorous and successful life reflect her desire to escape the mundane reality of her surroundings. She fantasizes about opening a boutique, becoming a fashion designer, or even an actress, dreams that feel impossibly out of reach given her family's modest means. Sophie's father, on the other hand, is a practical and grounded man. He dismisses her dreams as fanciful and urges her to focus on what's achievable. Her elder brother, Geoff, also plays a pivotal role in her life. Unlike Sophie, Geoff is more reserved, but his mysterious demeanor fascinates her. Sophie idolizes him and longs to share his secret world of experiences and adventures. However, the story takes an intriguing turn when Sophie claims to have met the famous footballer Danny Casey. She describes an imaginary encounter with him in great detail, weaving an elaborate tale of their conversation. Her narration, filled with hope and excitement, highlights her longing for recognition and success. But as her family listens skeptically, the fragility of her imagined world becomes evident. As the story progresses, Sophie's dreams collide with reality. She waits in vain at a place where she believes Danny Casey will meet her, reinforcing the theme of unfulfilled dreams. Her journey reveals the universal truth of growing up, the need to balance ambition with pragmatism, and the struggles of navigating between hope and disillusionment. Through Sophie's story, A.R. Barton captures the essence of youthful optimism and the bittersweet reality of coming of age. The chapter encourages us to dream big but reminds us to stay grounded in the present. Going Places is a celebration of dreams and aspirations, a story that resonates with all of us who have ever dared to dream beyond our immediate reality. It reminds us that while it's important to aspire, finding joy in the present is equally essential. This chapter explores the aspirations and struggles of working class individuals through a nuanced portrayal of characters. Each character represents a distinct perspective on ambition, reality, and the pursuits of dreams. Let's look at them individually now. Sophie is a dreamer with a vivid imagination. She craves a glamorous life far removed from her working class reality. Her aspirations of owning a boutique or meeting Danny Casey reflect her naive optimism and inability to accept her socio-economic limitations. Sophie's escapism, while endearing, leads to self-inflicted disillusionment, making her a symbol of youthful idealism clashing with harsh realities. Geoff, Sophie's elder brother, is a reserved and mysterious figure. He symbolizes experience and the allure of the unknown. Sophie idolizes him as someone who has access to a broader, more exciting world. However, Geoff's grounded personality contrasts with Sophie's imaginative tendencies, emphasizing the theme of reality versus fantasy. Jancy is Sophie's practical and realistic friend. She accepts their working class background and lacks Sophie's penchant for daydreaming. Jancy often serves as the voice of reason, highlighting Sophie's unrealistic ambitions. Her pragmatic outlook underscores the contrast between idealism and realism. Danny Casey, the celebrated footballer, is less a person and more a construct of Sophie's fantasies. He represents fame, success, and the unattainable life Sophie desires. While Sophie creates an imaginary relationship with him, Danny Casey remains a distant and symbolic figure in the story, embodying Sophie's unfulfilled aspirations. Sophie's father is a hard-working, skeptical man grounded in the realities of the working class life. He dismisses Sophie's stories and ambitions, often with harsh practicality. His character reflects the generational divide between hope and pragmatism and serves as a reminder of the limitations imposed by their circumstances. Now that we have delved into the narrative of going places, let's shift our focus to the deeper layers that make this chapter truly memorable. This story isn't just about Sophie's dreams, it's about the universal struggles of ambition, self identity, and the delicate dance between imagination and reality. Next, let's explore the deeper layers of the chapter, themes, and key messages. These insights will help you craft thoughtful and impactful answers in your exams. Sophie represents the boundless imagination of youth. Her dreams of owning a boutique, becoming a fashion designer, or meeting a famous footballer like Danny Casey are symbolic of her desire to rise above her modest reality. However, these fantasies, though captivating, are far removed from her circumstances. The story emphasizes how imagination can provide solace and hope, but also highlights the consequences of excessive escapism when reality does not align with these dreams. A recurring theme is the tension between Sophie's grand aspirations and the harsh realities of her working class background. Her father and brother Geoff act as foils to her idealism, reminding her of life's practical limitations. This clash highlights the importance of balancing dreams with realistic goals and underscores how growing up often involves reconciling these conflicting perspectives. Sophie's fabricated story about meeting Danny Casey reflects her self-seated need to feel special and acknowledged. As a teenager, she yearns for a unique identity that sets her apart from the ordinary. This theme speaks to the universal human desire for significance and how it shapes our actions and perceptions. The story sheds light on the relationship between Sophie and her family. Her father's practicality contrasts sharply with her dreams, showing the generational divide in outlooks on life. Meanwhile, her admiration for her brother Geoff reflects her longing for a confidant who might understand her dreams. This theme explores the complexities of family relationships and how they influence one's aspirations and choices. Danny Casey, though a real celebrity in Sophie's world, becomes a figment of her imagination, a symbol of the glamorous life she craves. This theme critiques society's obsession with fame and how celebrities are often idolized as unattainable figures of success. Sophie's fixation on Casey highlights how fame can blur the line between reality and fantasy for those seeking an escape from their ordinary lives. Sophie's story is a coming of age tale that captures the emotional turbulence of adolescence. Her dreams, hopes, and eventual disappointment reflect the bittersweet process of maturing. The chapter conveys that growing up involves not only dreaming big but also learning to accept life's realities with grace and resilience. Now, on to the most exam focused section, reference to context. Let's look at them one by one. This line reflects Sophie's ambitious and imaginative nature. It highlights her yearning for a better life far removed from her working class reality. Sophie's dreams are extravagant and unrealistic, revealing her naive optimism and desire for glamour. This statement underscores the theme of ambition and escapism in the story. This shows a rare moment of self awareness in Sophie, acknowledging the impracticality of her aspirations. It illustrates her inner conflict between dreaming big and recognizing the financial limitations of her family. The line underscores the central theme of balancing dreams with reality. Jansi's statement reflects the voice of pragmatism and contrasts with Sophie's idealistic nature. This line highlights the difference between Sophie's dreamy disposition and Jansi's grounded outlook. It also emphasizes the theme of how societal and economic realities shape perspectives differently. This showcases Sophie's determination to hold on to her dreams despite the odds stacked against her. It reflects her strong will but also her inability to understand the challenges posed by her socio-economic status. The line captures her youthful confidence and highlights her tendency to live in a world of fantasy. This line reflects Sophie's admiration for her brother Geoff and her perception of him as a mysterious and worldly figure. She sees him as someone who has experienced life beyond their limited environment. This highlights Sophie's yearning to break free from her mundane existence and explore the unknown. This line conveys Sophie's hope and longing for a better life. She believes Geoff can introduce her to a world full of adventure and excitement. It also underscores Sophie's dependency on others to fulfill her dreams, reflecting her lack of agency and experience. This shows the family's skepticism about Sophie's claim of meeting Danny Cassie. It reflects Sophie's habit of fabricating stories to escape her dull reality. The line emphasizes the theme of truth versus imagination and highlights Sophie's longing for attention and recognition. Jansi's disbelief highlights Sophie's tendency to exaggerate or invent scenarios. This line shows how Sophie's stories strain her credibility and reflect her need to feel special. It underscores the theme of how unfulfilled aspirations can lead to escapism. This line captures Sophie's longing and anticipation as she waits for Danny Cassie. The imagery reflects her inner hope and the emotional investment she has made in her fantasy. It symbolizes her yearning for something extraordinary in her otherwise ordinary life. Sophie's description of Danny Cassie shows her romanticized view of him. She idolizes him as a symbol of fame and success, projecting her dreams onto him. This line reflects Sophie's fascination with celebrity culture and her desire for connection to something grander than her everyday existence. This line illustrates Sophie's refusal to let go of her fantasy. Her optimism, even in the face of improbability, reflects her intense need to believe in her imagined reality. It highlights her inner struggle between hope and disillusionment, a central theme of the story. Sophie's belief in Danny Cassie's promise, despite its fictional nature, reveals her deep desire for validation. It shows her tendency to fabricate and cling to stories that provide her with a sense of importance. This line reflects the theme of escapism and the human need for hope. This fabricated detail underscores Sophie's inclination to create elaborate stories. It reflects her yearning for recognition and her attempt to elevate her mundane reality through fantasy. The line highlights the theme of how dreams, when detached from reality, can lead to self deception. This moment captures Sophie's emotional vulnerability as she begins to confront the truth that Danny Casey will not come. It reflects her deep disillusionment and the emotional toll of her unfulfilled dreams. The line symbolizes the painful process of maturing and letting go of unrealistic expectation. This line signifies the collapse of Sophie's dream and her return to reality. It encapsulates the theme of disillusionment and emphasizes the bittersweet nature of growing up. The absence of Danny Casse serves as a metaphor for the gap between Sophie's fantasies and her real life circumstances. These explanations provide in depth analysis of the lines, helping you connect them to the chapter's key themes and messages. Identifying literary devices is a sure way to score extra points. A.R. Barton employs several literary devices in Going Places to enhance its themes, characters, and narrative. Here is a breakdown of all the devices used in this chapter with short examples to make them easy to understand and spot. Symbolism. Danny Casse represents Sophie's unfulfilled dreams and the allure of fame and success. Wooden bench symbolizes Sophie's hope, waiting, and eventual disappointment. Factories and streets reflect the mundane and limiting reality of Sophie's working class background. Geoff's silence represents the mystery of the adult world that Sophie yearns to explore. Contrast Sophie versus Jancy. Sophie's idealism and dreams are contrasted with Jancy's realism and practicality. Geoff versus Sophie. Geoff's reserved and experienced personality contrast with Sophie's naive imagination. Idealism versus reality. Sophie's fantasies are continually juxtaposed with the harsh realities of her socio-economic background. Imagery. Visual imagery. Descriptions like wooden bench under the trees and small shops and factories create vivid pictures of Sophie's environment and inner state. Emotional imagery. The narrative captures Sophie's excitement, anticipation, and eventual heartbreak, drawing readers into her emotional journey. Irony, situational irony. Sophie waits for Danny Casey, believing he will meet her, but he never does, highlighting the futility of her fantasies. Dramatic irony. The audience knows that Sophie's stories about Danny Casey are fabricated, even as she seems to believe in them herself. Foreshadowing. Sophie's family and Jancy's skepticism about her stories hint at the eventual disillusionment Sophie will face. Characterization. Through direct and indirect characterization, Barton brings Sophie, Geoff, Jancy, and the father to life. Sophie's dreamy nature, Geoff's mysterious silence, and Jancy's realism are all vividly portrayed through their dialogues and actions. Theme as a structural device. The themes of escapism, ambition, and the clash between dreams and reality are woven throughout the narrative, structuring Sophie's journey from hope to disappointment. Metaphor. Danny Casey as a metaphor. He symbolizes Sophie's unreachable dreams and the disparity between her aspirations and reality. Geoff's world, seen as a metaphor for the unknown, exciting adult life Sophie desires to access. Reputation. Sophie's repetitive mentions of Danny Casey and her future boutique emphasize her fixation on dreams and her inability to accept reality. Stream of consciousness. Sophie's thoughts and feelings are presented as they occur, revealing her inner world and imaginative tendencies. Realism. The depiction of Sophie's family working class life and her father's skepticism adds authenticity to the narrative, grounding Sophie's lofty dreams in a harsh reality. Dialogue. The use of conversations between Sophie and others like Geoff and Jancy highlights the contrasts in their personalities and outlooks. Dialogue also drives the plot and develops the characters effectively. Tone. The tone of the story shifts between dreamy and realistic, mirroring Sophie's journey from hope to disillusionment. Allusion, reference to Danny Casey, a footballer, appeals to the cultural context of fame and celebrity, adding relevance and relatability to the story. Pathos, Sophie's longing and eventual disappointment evokes sympathy from the reader, making her story emotionally engaging. These literary devices enrich the narrative, emphasizing its themes and making Sophie's story relatable and poignant. Now, let's look at the key words and phrases that make your answers shine. They show the examiner your clarity of thought and understanding. Here are the must-use keywords from this chapter. These concise keywords will make your answers focused and precise. Let's go through the key phrases that we can use in our long answers and short answers. Here are some common errors made by students while studying or answering questions on the chapter. Let's discuss them. Students often fail to recognize the clash between fantasy and reality as the central theme. Some focus only on Sophie's dreams without connecting them to the socio-economic realities of her life. Many students do not emphasize the contrast between Sophie and Jancy or Sophie and Geoff, which is crucial to understanding the story's deeper meaning. The practical perspective of characters like Jancy and the father is often ignored. Students sometimes misinterpret the symbolic significance of Danny Casey, viewing him as a real character rather than a metaphor for Sophie's unachievable aspirations. Sophie's habit of daydreaming and its impact on her emotions and decisions are not explored thoroughly in answers. The role of escapism in her life is often underanalyzed. Students fail to highlight how Sophie's family reflects working class struggles and serves as a contrast to her idealistic dreams. The significance of the title Going Places, symbolizing ambition and escape, is often overlooked or poorly explained. Some students incorrectly treat Danny Casey as an active character rather than an idealized figure in Sophie's imagination. Literary devices like symbolism, contrast, irony, and imagery are either missed or not included in answers to support arguments. Students often sympathize with Sophie but fail to critically analyze her naivety and unrealistic ambitions. Many answers lack references to specific events, dialogues, or descriptions from the text to support claims. Students often ignore the working class setting and its impact on Sophie's aspirations and the narrative. Geoff's mysterious nature and its importance to Sophie's curiosity and admiration are often underexplored. Students provide surface level answers without delving into deeper themes like adolescent idealism, the pain of disillusionment, and the desire for recognition. Some students fail to differentiate between Sophie's fantasies and actual events, leading to incorrect interpretations of the story. Students spend too much time explaining Sophie's dreams and neglect the practical lessons and the themes presented in the story. Tips to avoid these errors are given over here. By avoiding these errors, students can present more well-rounded and insightful answers in their exams. To help you prepare effectively, here is a list of a few probable short questions. I'll also share value points for each so you can frame perfect answers. Now let's dive into the long questions. Remember, focus on structure, clarity, and evidence from the text. Here is how to approach each one. In long answers, keep your answers clear and concise. Support your points with text references and focus on themes and characters. Finally, let's talk about tips to score maximum points, from structuring your answers to using quotes effectively. These strategies will ensure you write answers that stand out. Now you are all set to ace Going Places. Focus on the themes, characters, and textual evidence for strong answers. Practice, manage your time, and you will score top marks. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more exam tips. For any questions or support, drop a comment below. Good luck, children.